Alright, another day. Let's see what we got on the bench today. We'll move this nice milkshake or whatever, this hybrid drink. Can we put it here? Yeah, nah, back there. We're going to take a moment and wind the watch. We didn't do this today. I know, dumb considering you got these things, but yes, watches are still necessary in 2019. That should be enough to run us till tonight. Before it's mentioned or commented, yes, 100% there is a coffee stain there. If I'm not in the bright light, you can't see it. Alright, let's check it out. What do we have on the bench? What is this thing, Dave? An RCA 11-inch Maven Pro? Maven Pro 11-inch? It's quite the thing. And the back just pops off these. There's no screws, right?
Yeah, actually there is screws.
In the back?
No, they're all along the sides of it, right here.
Oh, okay. So here's
Bunch of screws. I got all the screws.
Here's our problem with that. And this is this has always been a great mystery to me. How you break that internal screen without breaking your external Gorilla Glass or whatever revision of mobile device glass they happen to have on here. How the internal one breaks. Now, there's no dings in the batteries. It didn't take a super hard hit from the back. We're looking at it. It seems to be alive. So.
Hey, I'll see you tomorrow.
Alright, man, you have a good one.
They're all good.
It's all good.
As long as you wake up, man.
Okay. RCA Maven Pro 11-inch, RCA 11-inch Maven Pro. I don't know the correct title for it, but hey, we're gonna go ahead and get started. We gotta swap out that internal LCD, and it's very, very pretty. Let's flip back over here and take another look. Yeah, that's always been a good mystery how that, because it's got to take, and it happens to be cheap to the point where they get a pretty clear, it's like a plexiglass type thing, like plastic almost. Not plexiglass, plexiglass will crack, but it's like a thin plastic, and those have the, which we're not going to unmount this to see if it's glass or plastic. We're just going to unplug the battery and go to work replacing this screen. Simple stuff. Okay, so let's simulate a teardown. You got all your cables in there and everything. If you had one of these together, you're gonna look at it, and I don't know. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so you're gonna have 2 screws on that end, 0 screws across this side. So the top, if you were to look at it, the RCA label going up from it, you're gonna have 0 screws. To the left of it, you will have 2 screws. Underneath, you'll have 2 screws there, 2 screws on the very back, and then on the side with all your ports, it looks like you will have 1 and 2 screws there. Second one there. So after removing those, pull it out, Be careful though, because you do have a ribbon cable running from your charger port for connecting it, docking it to a keyboard dock accessory, to this little port here. You do not want to rip off that little ribbon cable FPC. I call them an FPC connector. I don't know if that's right, but we'll refer to it as a ribbon cable connector. An RCP, ribbon cable, oh, RCC, ribbon cable connector, or RCP, ribbon cable port. We don't need terms. Do we need facts here with what we do? No. Then we've got a Haggard screen from the Haggard Parts Shop, not ours. It came online. They've got some glue left over. We may get some Goo Remover out, remove that, and use some new, I got this new tape. Oh boy, and finding this in this mess could be a mess. Oh, of course not. Okay, so he ran away with my tape. I do have some, there it is. No, he just hung it up. Think about that when it actually gets hung up. It's new tape. It's not red. I believe this was some type of, the brand was like Dragon Tape or something like that. Does being Dragon Tape have anything to do with being better? I don't know. It sounded cool though, so. And believe it or not, it's not red. It's a very clear tape. It is clear once you get, peel and stick it and then remove the red backing. Clear tape. It has a pretty good stick. It has much better stick. We have a thin roll of it also. Here's a thin roll we ordered, and when you compare, I should put a link to this thing in the video description. Whenever you compare this awesome Dragon Tape to a lot of the stuff you get that looks like that or that, usually it comes with, you know, a backer on it or one on each side to keep dust and particles off of the tape. They usually look like that on eBay and Amazon, and they claim it's for putting in LCDs and other stuff, and you can get it different thicknesses. You can get this thickness. We found some of this red Dragon Tape, allegedly what it's called, here, or that thickness and the thicker thickness. We found it back, I forget when we originally found it, but I took in a spot you never see video, which I'll give you a general location, is right up here beside this camera, just to the left of it, how you see it. I hung up an iPod Touch 64 gig, my old iPod, with two tiny pieces of this width of this tape. Like two tiny little pieces from the iPod Touch screen to screws to suction cup cameras to, and that for different videos and time lapses and that. Just glass to glass, stuck it up with two tiny little pieces, and it hung up there in the hottest part, like the hottest part of summer in the shop, with the AC off overnight when it heats up ridiculous in here. Like at the end of the day, getting toward evening, even after 11, 12 o'clock, it hung there for weeks. I had to pry it down even when it was warm. So fairly good tape. I'm gonna trust the quality. So we may clean the goo off of the back of this. I think we will. And we'll put in, what did they have stuck there? If we look at our parts, looks like the battery cells in one part, and then I don't know, that tape was placed pretty, okay, no, it was one here and one here on the battery cells. Okay, that's where it, yep. Alright, that being said, we'll do that when we get to it. This may be a little bit longer stream. Hopefully we can get some people hanging around. If you're watching, share it out. Get a couple people to share it. Let's get a crew in here to get our hands dirty and fix some stuff. Hopefully not break it. Go ahead and remove this. We did get a spare cable with the screen, so that's a positive note. Undo our speaker. Does that come loose? I would assume so. Give us a pry tool. Non-existent pry tool. There it is. Okay, let's see if we can get this speaker out. Oh yes, very easy. And, oh wow, okay, let's put that back. They do have it stuck in with adhesive. If we unscrew the screen, we'll slide it out from under it. It's stuck to the little bracket there. Let's knock that. Let's try and drop the exposure on that. The autofocus is horrible for that camera, but I like to have it on, so I apologize about that. It's just nice whenever much too dark. Sharpen this up a little. Let's drop the exposure and raise the gain. Try and get, there we go. What are we going to need? Some tweezers to hopefully not rip our ribbon cables. We can pop stuff up with that, and a Phillips. Let's find an appropriate sized bit. And that one is not it. Down one. Quick note about here. You guys want to stand a little closer? I'll pull you in here. There. A quick note about Phillips, like SAE Phillips screwdrivers and bits versus JIS Phillips, Japanese. They are kind of cross compatible, but I know one thing: it wears the heads on the screws out more and the bits when you, if you're tutorial or following a walkthrough or something and it calls for a JIS bit. If you have it, grab it, use it. It seems to work better with the screws, and that's going to be a problem. I really don't want to unsolder this. Alright, we're going to go heat it up. Please excuse the absence for a moment. .71 is not very hot, but it should be enough to pull it up. If not, we'll go blast it with the heat gun real quick. And that will definitely lift that up. Tweezers, huh? What a way to do this. Literally just a trace on a piece of a sticker instead of the metal one like you see in laptop antennas. Alright, we've got that free. Let me find a piece of plastic to stick that antenna to so we don't get dust on it and lose the tackiness to it. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Very interesting. We don't want to peel the glass. How about we'll take a piece off the bag with the Pixel XL motherboard. Scissors don't cut. Okay. Those need to go in the garbage. Alright, antenna, meat, plastic. What do we have here? A few ribbon cable. Looks like after the ribbon cable we should be free. Should be free from the motherboard. Or, yeah, the motherboard should be free and able to come up. Fairly easy. We can start getting toward working, removing this screen. Once inside the tablet and you have the ribbon cable from the back case, the battery, the speaker, the Wi-Fi antenna removed, the ribbon cable from the, it looks like the digitizer. You're going to have, let's see, count them, 1, 2, 3, looks like 4 screws hold the motherboard down. And hopefully no more ribbon cables. And so far the screws are the same size, so that's the good news. An honest opinion, and I know everybody has opinions, some of these tablets, if you have a Kindle Fire, I'm not saying don't repair it, maybe sentimental value. We have quite a few, I've dealt with quite a few people that they have sentimental, like some type of sentimental value exists with a device. Oh, we're connected to what, a microphone? Okay, not as bad as I thought. There we go. And they have sentimental attachment to a tablet and they drop it and break the digitizer on the front of it, or the screen gets broke, or digitize the screen because it's all the same thing. Oh, that's how it happens there. But yeah, people like that want stuff fixed, I can understand. But if you have an Amazon tablet or a Google product or whatever, name it, an Android tablet, iPad. Okay, maybe not an iPad, but you got a cheap tablet, one of the cheapy ones, like an Android tablet under 100, Kindle Fire, HD, whatever, and you drop it, it's gonna cost half the price, if not a little under, a little over half the price of buying a new one. Just buy a new one, unless you have some valid reason you want to fix it. And I do believe the front of this might be that kind of real thick mil, like 8-10 mil plastic screen. I'm not sure, but yeah, I think it is according to the bend there. I've never seen glass bend, and usually when you see that, it is a glass screen. So now I know how the mystery solved of how the internal screen got broken. We still have to get a battery off of the old broken screen and attach to the new one. It looks like we've got a ribbon here that is attached to this circuit board, so we're gonna have to lift that tape off also, possibly. Let's go ahead and pull out the 4 screws that hold our screen in. Once we start lifting this out, we're gonna want to find something with no dust, no static, to flip that screen over and set it on to keep, oh wow, keep some of the dust out of the glass screen. Then if we get in, we'll blow it out with the air compressor, some compressed air. Not a major thing. It's Monday too. I don't know. I thought about maybe doing Monday streams every Monday. The iPhone we have to get back to. We had a mishap with that, and before anybody comments or asks, no, it wasn't a missing pentalobe screw. That was replaced appropriately. It was actually a confusion between an iPhone 6 Plus and an iPhone 6S Plus. Too many models. Okay, let's... Oh, wow. Okay, so they do have little clips that hold this in there that we have to work on getting them to release the screen, or we're not even going to pull it out, and we definitely don't want to break the front screen. Okay. Fun. Here, we'll pull you in a little closer. That will let me work kind of above it without my head getting in the way, hopefully. I mean, it doesn't really matter if we break this LCD, we just don't want to break the digitizer on the front, so with any luck, that's what we'll avoid here. That just seems like a nightmare to have to pull those out. Maybe pull it. I don't know, I haven't really... I messed with an RCA Galileo Pro, but never one of these Maven Pros. So they got 3 on that side, only 2 on this side. This seems like the side you would want to pop those out from. You can't take the front off and then pull the screen out because of the metal frame on it. So we're stuck trying to pry this out and figure out if we're doing it right or wrong. And that's actually breaking my tool, so we gotta shave that down now. Put an edge back on it. Do we dare go metal? How bad do we want to break it? How bad? Let's try. We're gonna get a little bit of flathead action going on to see if we can pop it up above these two. And once we get that, we should have some wiggle room to get it out around the rest. As I said, this internal screen is already broken. It don't much matter if we crack it anymore. 1 up, 2 up. Almost by design, it would seem that like they're planning on you breaking it in that way. Alright, there's 3. Is that enough for us to get this thing loose? Or do we gotta go like 4? Okay, so you remove a couple clips and it's enough. Before we got actually, I don't know if anybody can see it, we do have some dirt on this side, but we do have some in here to clean out, as is evidenced by the screen being broke. We've also got a battery to get off of there. What fun. Okay, and on the new screen, do we have to lift the tape in the circuit board? No, we do not. So we don't even have to mess in that area. We just need a battery, and we got to straighten out our clips. Another thing, not saying this is what's bad about these budget tablets, and I'm not saying they're bad products. Some of them are probably wonderful. I don't own any. Okay, but let's take a minute and I'm going to go over this RCA, the other RCA, the Galileo Pro that I fixed, and the Insignia NSP1 whatever. There's a video way back about it that we put an internal screen on. All of those were a year or so old, I would say. And we couldn't find any new parts for them, new replacement parts. We looked, we tried, we couldn't find new ones. We had to go on eBay and buy broken tablets that were 4 parts, like the motherboard was dead in it and we needed the internal screen, or they actually somebody had one that was broke and they pulled the internal screen, or the internal screen was malfunctioning, motherboard no good, so they sold the front frame with the digitizer on it. Yeah, that's some of the problem with having the budget tablets is the availability of parts. Moving on, I am going to, wow, if this is going to come off of here very easily because it's crap adhesive, which it might be. No, we're gonna risk puncturing the battery casing. If we do that, all hope's gone. That you definitely don't want to do. Okay, we're gonna put some heat on this side of the screen. We know the screen's no good. We could bake through right through the plastic with a heat gun. We know we got a strip of tape here in this area, and there's probably gonna be one there if I try and lift it. Yes. So we're gonna go apply the heat gun directly over these areas, but on this side. So we'll transfer our line. We could just rough guess it, but we're gonna put a line to be sure. I don't like playing with heat guns. The screen's broke. It's not gonna be recycled or refurbished, fixed or anything, so one-of-a-kind art piece. Who wants to sell it on eBay? Give me a moment here. You will hear a heat gun. Let's see if we can break some adhesive loose. Another way you can separate batteries and screens is with, like, if you have like a heating pad, heating element, anything like not a heating element, but like a hot plate is what I meant to say. If you have access to a hot plate, or if anybody ever see the like rice field, it's like a long bag type thing, cloth bag with rice in it. If you have access to one of those, that adhesive was much easier to cut. This one, we're not going to pry too much, but warming up the front side of the screen, letting the heat travel through. Got it out. Yeah, oh yeah, we're cutting right through the adhesive with our metal open sesame or whatever these things are. Alright, so we got some adhesive to remove there. There's the old one. Good to go. Throw it in the junk pile. Another good thing to do, I don't know if it hurts or helps, you got that the external wrap on the battery. Too bad I don't have it. I guess I do have a double A. I'll go that route. I like to roll the casing back down on the battery. Not for safety of the battery, but when it does pry out like that, and you get too much thickness, if it doesn't lay back down enough when you stick it in the device, you may end up with white spots on your new screen. So we're gonna take a battery, heck with it. We went big, just not big enough. We'll go with an 18650 where we can get some actual gusto on this battery, and roll the casing back out nice and flat. After we do this, we're gonna check for rips in the wrap around the battery. If you puncture it, it's not going to function properly. It's going to significantly deplete its charge cycle, and it could possibly catch fire. Lithium ion, lithium polymer batteries, LiPos, are not something you want to play with. Okay, we got it pretty flat. We got a little wrinkle there. Once we get the adhesive off, we'll remove that. Right now I'm going to do a test case with a Q-tip and some Goo Remover. I don't want to put a chemical on that could possibly eat through this plastic coating, and I don't think Goo Remover will, but you never know. Safety above all, right? Alright, let's see what the story is. Alright, so it will start removing the goo. And it doesn't look like it's degrading the plastic at all. Let's go ahead and get a little more here. And of course, all over the counter, we'll use that for the rest of the battery. Once you soften adhesive and glue up with a little bit, pick your Goo Remover, Goo Gone. This isn't sponsored by them. I just said the name. That's one example. I've seen it, Goo Remover, Goop Remover. Choose your generic, insert generic name here. Once you soften it up a little, you can usually start peeling it off. Does it need to come off? I don't know. We're going for back as close to factory as possible to avoid white marks on the screen where it's too thick. Heat is another way, but I don't like heating up these batteries as little as possible. You can't do it, I avoid it. LiPo fires aren't fun if you've ever seen one. If you're into RC and RC flying and you've crashed a plane or a drone, you probably know what I'm talking about. Possibly if you wrecked a car bad enough, you also might know what I'm talking about with LiPo fires. I don't know that anything flew with nickel cadmium or nickel metal hydride batteries, but possibly. I think they're too heavy compared to LiPos. Alright, let's go over that again quickly with more super sauce. Camera's probably shaking like crazy when I do that. Sorry, people. No comments out there. Any first-time watchers out of the one or two. Usually one or two people crop up. I don't know who everyone is, but thank you for hanging. You know what I think we might do with this? I know exactly what we're going to do with it. Where they be? They're not there. We're going to go get a new one and label it. We even got the little funnel to fill it. Alright, so let's grab one of these. We'll get a different funnel out because it's not going to be used that often. I did not think I would find a use for these other than alcohol and lighter fluid, but I just found another one. Alright, Goo Remover. Perfect. How accurate does everybody think we're going to be with that little hole in the top? With a funnel, fairly. I always seem to get way too much out of these type bottles with that little hole that you got to squeeze. So we will remove the big bottle and the hole and go down to our little one. Goo Remover. There we go. Not to be confused with alcohol or lighter fluid, both of which are used quite frequently. Got a little bit better application with where you're not spilling as much, like I spilled it all over there. One lonely soul out there. We've got to get some friends in on the action. Do we dare try the metal? Yeah, I don't think it's gonna dull out as quick as the plastic. We'll be able to scrape all this goo over into a smaller area and hopefully remove it then. Okay, most of it gone. And that's one side. Let's keep in mind we still got the other side to go. I'll tell you what, this stuff on your fingers, not awesome. Alright, last go at this side. Alright, that's take one. Goo Remover. At least on the whatever they used in these, which they probably used different adhesives. Let's check out what heat can do. We're going to hit this side with heat quick and see if we can just roll it off with our gloves, despite not wanting to heat a battery. Excuse me, everyone. There we go. Alright, take two. Warm adhesive. Probably not suited for gloves. We're going to have to go fingers or guitar pick. Let's try that. I think the heat is heated up and it'll roll off easier. Seems like a quicker job than the Goo Remover. Maybe Goo Remover is more of a finishing product after you do this stage. You remove those last little couple bits that are hanging around. Much cleaner removal than I think I'm going to call that pretty good. We got one little spot there. That's good. 18650 it back to flat. Let's do this side, and we got to clean that off a little. Alcohol possibly. Actually, no, it's dry. Okay, good there. Let's apply our new adhesive, and then we'll try and get some off of this screen without breaking it. A little bit of dust, people, a little bit. Battery in the iPad is getting low. Give me 1 second. We're going to plug it in so I do not lose my monitor. Visual aid for making sure the mic's still going. That's right, that's right. Everything I'm saying is so important, you have to hear it. No, not even. Not even. A huge overstatement. Gigantic exaggeration. None of it is that important at all. Alright, we got the monitor. Let's go with the adhesive as soon as we find the end. There it is. Okay. Careful to not cut yourself. Don't cut downward into the battery. If doing that, pull upward a little bit and kind of restrict your, you know how not to cut yourself. I'm not going to tell you how to do that. Come on now. Alright, well, the question is, what's going to get this crap off of here safely? It's on metal. We know we're not going to puncture through it. Let's test it right now and see. It's going to be a heck of a thing to sit and scrape all that. How about a little bit of heat? No damage done there, but the metal is arched out in the back from whoever removed the battery from this one. Alright, phase 2. I'm not going to trust it. I'm not doing damage to that screen pressing on it with the force I have to, even with heat. Amateur opinion says the screen is slightly more fragile than a battery. I don't know what the census says. So would it be better, I wonder? This is something I've been thinking about. Maybe if anybody ever leaves a comment, you can tell me. Would these type of things be better suited as a short, quick edited thing? See, edited and then uploaded, you get a lot more finesse to it. You know, the video, they turn out a lot nicer. But I kind of like the live, uncut, unrated. I want to get people coming and hanging out, you know, getting some opinions, some conversation going, community. And uploading videos isn't really going to do that, I don't think. True, you can still grow a community by editing and then uploading, but the live aspect of it doesn't really apply. Okay, we're taking a brief detour. We're going to go for a rough cut edge. Maybe finesse that a little more with the finer file to smooth it out some, and then try and put a better edge on it with a knife, maybe. Are we going to get straight? I don't believe so. Alright, we went with large. Let's cycle over to little to smooth it out. JRE MMA show just went on. I like the MMA shows, not as much as his normal podcast, but it's all good. It's entertainment. I do tune into them once in a while. I don't think this one, not too concerned. Who is it? Yeah. Not today, Joe. Sorry. Maybe in the future I'll rewatch. Not bad. Still a little bit of goop left there. We'll hit that, and go for our last cleaning on this side. Void if removed. I wonder if they meant that on the monitor, or wonder where that sticker was originally. That's funny. Much better. I dig it. With the big bottle, I would have the screen covered. These little ones are handy. So first we'll knock off the big stuff. See, we can't go as brute force on this like we could on the battery. So like, I don't have really any down force on this. It's more I'm pressing that way while it's scraping along. Just letting it cut through. If you gotta go over it, if you remove an adhesive like this, you gotta go over it. No big deal, you will get to it. Take your time. It's better than having to buy like another screen. Okay, so with that method on the metal, we're removing goop fast. We got one spot there close to the edge. I don't want any to bleed under the tape, which also uses adhesive and go in the screen. So we're going to scrape away from it. Last couple remaining bits coming off of this. And this is the second, yeah, I don't understand this one. I think this is the second, maybe even third time this has passed through here. I don't know if this is a sentimental piece or the other one, but yeah. Here we go. Ready to stick our batteries when we can. Adhesive's gone, scratched up, but most of that scratching was not from me. So we've got to clean our screen again. We had it clean, but we had to flip it over to work on it. So we're going to clean that again. While it sits, we'll work on getting our frame cleaned out as well. Man, what a crap place for a speaker. And I hope like heck that's on the front glass and not the inside. If you can get a streak like that on your inside glass, and I know you can see that right here, there, if you can get that's not a crack, that's a streak. If you can do that to your internal glass, you got skills. do the outside rough cleaning, then fine tune that cleaning with our little Windex wand thing. Okay, so that was some gunk on the outside, nothing important. We're going to see to what level this may be scratched. Oh my. I don't think they're going to even worry about this being cleaned. I think they're just going for back to have it. We definitely have some scratches. Okay. Easy. Let's set this back down in our dust-free place and move on. Oh, what happened? Did we kill it? No, thankfully we didn't hit stop streaming or anything like that. Alright. Another thing, anytime when cleaning a screen and you have tape around the edges, that is what's holding it together versus a metal frame. Even if it's a metal frame, try to keep as little cleaner, chemical, whatever it is you're cleaning that screen with away from going under the tape and under the edge of the screen. It may dry out if it's something that evaporates fairly quick, or it may not. What we got there? Is that more goop or is that damage? It looks like goop. Okay. This screen was... all that stuff I just cleaned off the battery, it looks like they had some loose balls of that adhesive, just like little scraped pieces that they shipped with this thing, because they were stuck all over the front of it. Or like they'd shipped a battery with some of that stuff on it with this at some point, and it just... I have about an hour into cleaning this replacement screen before the stream today. Getting goop off the front of it. And that's it. That's the final cleaning it gets. We're going to attempt to put it back together. First we need to straighten our pieces a little. Let's get pliers to do this. That's one. Two. Three. And four don't look too bad, but we're going to go ahead and give it a little torque as well. How unlucky are we here? Alright, let's find out. Not so bad, right? Just got to get this to fit back in under the clips that we had to pry it out of. Looks like we're lining up, but we also have to verify all of our ports go there, which would mean the LCD cable runs over and up. That is the right way. Ooh, How are we going to get these back down, people? I've got questions that need answered here. Do we try and pick up in the middle and put both ends down, or force it the whole way down to see if it will just snap in? Wow, that's not very friendly going in there. Shoehorn? Is that possible? Not with something that thick, it isn't. But a razor blade. Not likely. Okay. Let's worry about that one and that one first, and then we'll go for the ends. In. Oh, one part's our sticking point that's hating on us right now. This corner here. And it feels like something's gonna break if we force it. In. Okay, thank you. Alright, line up our front camera, everything else. The microphone was important. We got our ports. That lines up. Let's get our 4 black screws in there. Put our screws in our LCD before we go that far. We'll wipe off our scratched plastic screen to see. I do not believe we have any real dirt inside. If we do, we got to pop it back out and at least clean it out. It's pretty scratched up, so. The internal or external? And that be internal, people. We've got to at least get that piece removed. The good thing about gloves and the bad thing. Now I've got to go through this nightmare all over again. Luckily, the front of this thing bends with our plastic discovery. So there's one. Let's go for 2. Which ain't gonna happen. Remember, we pulled it out with a screwdriver before. We can't do that with this one. As, you know what, let's just loosen that up and try and knock that piece out of there. Capcom tape. It's only one bad piece. If we have to, we're reaching in there with a Q-tip and getting it out of there. Okay. Gone. I thought I saw one more. I did there. Alright, let's put this back together before the Sandman shows back up. Okay. Microphone, front facing camera, motherboard, black screws here, silver screws on the display. I got a project coming up for everybody that watches this live, watches it after the fact. Like I said, I said it on the air before, we'll shout it out again. Got that DC power supply in, variable power supply. We're gonna find some stuff to let the ghost out of it, that magic smoke. But it doesn't smell too good. Get some old dead hardware and hook up some stuff. Show a little bit of fault finding and start doing some repairs. Okay. Bit of coffee. And we'll take a bit of a nicotine break while we contemplate. I don't know, I would love to see comments, so now, in the future, let me know. Do you think it's worth fixing cheap electronics? Would you pay to fix a tablet if it was about half to 3/4 of the cost of buying a new one? Or whatever electronic, or would you just go buy the new one? You know, everybody would probably have a different opinion. I don't know. And the sentimental thing plays a part too. I think that's where most people want to tend to keep it, or people that can't really afford something new. Because let's face it, none of this stuff's cheap. I mean, 2019, the dollar doesn't go as far as it used to. You're talking 90 bucks, 100, 50, 75. That's a lot of dollars to a lot of people. No, uh-oh, gotta get that off our thumb. That's no good. No bueno, as we communicate quite frequently at my other job. Not an insult. We actually communicate with some broken Spanish there, because I don't know Spanish fluently, but I can kind of talk, kind of. Alright, what do we got? Where are we at with the whole thing? What did we got? We got the battery. This got to go back in, so we know that's got to go there, but where roughly? It looks like it will fit anywhere in that back range. We've got a rear facing camera. We've got to make sure that lens is cleaned out internally. We do have marks on the battery, but that was to mark the adhesive, and I think I remember it being up this way and not much down that way. I don't think it's super important. We do have a little wiggle room with where we can stick it in. Basically, we're going to lift it up, look for the old marks, and we'll line them up. Okay, so a lot of scraping, And then we'll go from there. We only need room to get our Wi-Fi antenna down there. We have in, correct? Yes? No? Maybe. Tell me. Once that's in, put it like that, correct. And here's that clear tape, if we can get just the backing to lift. Sometimes it is a struggle. So, very clear. Yeah, you can see it there. Very, very clear tape. And it holds, like I said, better than that budget stuff. It costs a little more than the stuff you can get all over Amazon and eBay. But the holding power of the tape itself, I would rate much, much better for its adhesive properties. We got a little bit of adhesive roll up. I'm going to flatten that back out. There we go. Let's line it up there, 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 and for the most part there. Give a little press. Okay. Hey, we don't need you. Get out of the way. Actually, that don't go there, that just goes there. And this goes not here. Very nice, very nice. We'll stick you there when we get there. Let's route a speaker. That's on in. Speaker power Wi-Fi antenna. Let's go heat this up on our heater. Restore some of the tackiness. Oh, 100% not going to happen. I don't want to put anything on the other side due to the little trace that's built into that sticker. I don't know if it will mess with the antenna, so we'll let it well enough alone. One there. And we lost one. Woo. That is a tight fit there. I think we'll make it though. I think yep, got it. Okay. What next now? Last ribbon cable. Goes there. We need to clean the inside of this rear camera lens. It does have, seems like it would get grit on it easier. It's not, doesn't have as tight of seal. There we go. Okay, last one. That's my gas down over the ports. Okay, that's there. We need to get the screws. For sake of not having to take them all back out, we'll go ahead and get it turned on. I don't know what state this thing was in. Hopefully it works, because I know they had wanted to fix it. Guess what? Guys, do not follow my example. This is not professional stuff here. Guess what dumb old Nick did for you? I didn't plug the battery in. So now we're going to go back around and pop our back cover off. And plug in the battery. Okay, let's do this. Correct, no battery. No battery at all. we can remove it that way. Plug our battery in. We want to keep the rest pinched between the connector board, hopefully. How about we plug it in and tuck it in later, or after. There we go. Alright, take two. We almost do it right, because sometimes we got to do it twice. Alright, power, please, maybe. Let's see. We're not hitting the power button. Or is the battery just dead again? Oh, guess what? Guess what? You guessed it, take three. Okay. Who was watching and saw this happening? If you didn't, comment. No, it's fine. It's fine. These things happen. I'm like I'm happy that it's going well. Usually I cobble things and things go real bad. I get lucky and repair some simple stuff. We've got one other vital component, and there's no battery in the world powerful enough that was gonna help us get this thing to show up, because I know it's displaying already right now. We just don't have any connections to make, literally. So let's run down this side and get our pane. Hey, you, come out of there. We're just going to go to this end where it's not fighting us as much as that one. See, this thing used to have a nice flat end on it, and it's chopped off, so it's like thicker. That's why we had to file it down. I think that's like the third time I filed this particular one down, but it's one of my favorite tools. Alright, no excuses this time. If we don't get this screen to light up this time, we're packing it in and retiring for the night. I see no reason, other than I forget to plug the battery back in, why it's not going to light up this time. Alright, let's go. We gotta take a peek and see where. There, okay. We need that free. Alright, correct guess, people. Leave it locked. We're going to undo the battery first because my suspicion is the tablet's on, so we're unplugging it. Now unplug that. Display cable might be a factor in this case. Just maybe. Maybe. Alright, that's on. Let's reconnect this nightmare and then the battery. And stream's going to be over anyhow here after we get this done. So, I've said it on the podcast, I'll say it. I think I've even said it here. I'm good at making an ass out of myself here in public. The podcast, it's a hobby. Give a guy a break. You gotta have some fun in life, you know? Alright, let's trace that out. We'll stick that where it seems halfway appropriate. Plug our battery in. Or not. Alright, now the battery's in. 3 takes. See, all this gets edited out of videos where you get all the finesse and the fine tuning. And you can leave the errors in, bloopers at the end during the video. Put up that little message about the countdown. You know, the point where he knew he had effed up. 3, 2, 1. Alright. Any luck? Oh! Time to retire anyhow. RCA powered by Android. And it stayed on a white screen any other time. And I don't know if it's because all the components weren't hooked up or it was just taking a minute to boot. Battery, I don't know what the issue could have been, but it stayed on a bright white screen. So we're going to go ahead and let it sit and see what happens. Maybe the battery is balancing out. This battery was dead and we had to revive it with the RC charger. Alright, smudge is gone. That thing is one scratched up plastic screen. But hey, I'm going to call that limited success. Limited success. Look at the RCA puppies. Keep an eye on them. Don't let them run off. We like them. Be good to your Dalmatians or your white. What are those? I don't know. There's something. Now, it did get a broken screen. Does it have some other problem? I don't know, but it would seem so. That's going to be a different video. Or it's just, I don't know, old. It's got this big fat reset button on the back here, which is like, you can't press it easy. You got it's recessed. So maybe that had been poked when it was powered on. I don't know. We're going to let it sit and see what happens, but I won't waste everybody else's time with that. We'll finish cleaning up here. Thanks for hanging out, getting your hands dirty with me. If you were working on your own stuff at home, let me know. What was it? What did you fix? Was this background noise? You couldn't watch something this boring that intently, so we won't even go there with it. Thanks, kitty. You did a good job today. We shall return the tools. So, what are we taking bets on? Frozen, or has been reset and is sitting, debating some of the finer points of life? We don't yet know. Maybe they had hit reset thinking the screen wasn't broke, it was just garbled. I don't know. We'll find out though. That's step 2. Broken screen. You can even see the breaks in it too, depending on the way you hold the glare. Check that out. Hey, I should keep that. It's like a big N. Big N shape for Nick. Oh, more like an M actually. Alright. We're not keeping the mom screen. What do we have coming up? We've got to check out a screen to make sure it's good. We finished this up first thing today. Just nothing really. Windows updates needed finished. We'll go ahead and shut it down. This computer is great again, and we'll have the owner come get it. We got our 2-in-1, 2-to-1 that needs picked up. I don't know if we're buying the battery or the user is buying the battery, but hey, we gave it to him, so I'd say that's pretty good. Whoever buys the battery, it does need a battery to stay on. Advisable. Power supply will do it, but you know, that's another story. So have a good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining me, hanging out. If you do enjoy the content, use whatever you like it, share it out, get it out there, get some other people over there. If you have stuff you want to see fixed, call in. Maybe we can try and lend a hand on the air. Maybe we can fix it off the air, whatever you want. There will be fees, of course. Nothing is free. I do have a contest coming up, so if you know people that would be into getting something for virtually nothing, no money anyhow, share that, get it out there. We're going to give away something cool in not the near future like tomorrow, but the near future. Not tomorrow, not next week. Month, little more, maybe double that. I don't know yet. I haven't figured it all out. The details are not worked out. Thanks again for watching, and I will see everybody, I'm not going to say later, but hopefully tomorrow. Have a good evening.